All right, we are here. The 9 to 5 boys are here.
We are back. We are back after Super Bowl Sunday. What is up? Did you watch that game?
No, I did not. I literally only watched it for Chris Stapleton doing the national anthem and then Rihanna. That was it.
I mean, that's all you really needed. Like, I'm not a big sports guy. Like, I watched the whole thing just because, like, also the commercials. I thought some of the commercials were really funny. I like the one with. I actually like the one with Adam Driver doing an ad for Squarespace, and then like Ben Stiller and Steve Martin doing ads for Pepsi. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But what's it? Yeah, so Chris Stapleton doing the national anthem was wonderful. It moved me. I'm not a big fan of the national anthem. I think it's redundant. It's boring. But he did it really well. Just a beautiful voice. Just
Yeah.
man's guitar. Really
That's
respect that.
that's another reason why he's like one of the most slept on like country music stars of all time. Like the dude really does country well.
I'm sure he does. I haven't checked out his stuff, but because I'm not big on country, like at least not modern country. Like I like Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, fucking I don't know. It's another example, but
Neil
yeah,
Young. I mean,
Neil Young. Um, I was gonna say Bob Dylan, but he does more folk.
there's also Hank Snow, Marty Robbins.
Man, you should know a lot, but
Yeah.
you know a lot of old country stars. But the game itself was cool. I enjoyed it. There were some great plays. There was this one crazy one. I think it was the second beginning of the second quarter. It was the kickoff. The Eagles catch it. They run all the way to the other side of the field to get a touchdown within the first 8 seconds of the second quarter.
Bruh. Jesus Christ, man.
That was pretty cool. I also like when I can watch these and I'm not like emotionally invested in either of the teams because it's not my home team. I feel like when it's my home team, I have a little more passion. But in general, I don't really have a great passion for sports. I can respect the enterprise and I can respect. I can understand why people appreciate it. It's not entirely for me, but I have all this. Like I have ESPN Plus, and now I have NFL Plus, and I'll get into that in a sec. Just because my friends watch sports, so I'm like, oh, I might as well. But so I was trying to figure out, like, okay, so I'm a guy who doesn't have cable because I already know that streaming is the new cable. All these packages are expensive. I'm not gonna pay an extra $70 a month for like TV. That's stupid. So I was trying to figure out where can I stream the Super Bowl, and I thought, okay, like first I have Hulu, like I didn't know I don't have the deal that gives me live TV, so that was annoying. And so I'm like, okay, YouTube. I'll try YouTube. They do live stuff, and I saw the pregame stuff with no issue. But trying to catch the game on YouTube Live, I'm guessing without YouTube TV, was annoying because like I there was a watermark the whole time starting the game, so I was like, well, I can't have this. This is gonna just piss me off for the next 4 hours. So I decided to just find NFL Plus. I have like a week free trial, so like I have till Sunday to cancel it. I may just keep it. It's only $5 a month. It's not too much of an addition to my expenses. Um, but yeah, and then the halftime show was sick. I already thought it was cool because like I do like Rihanna. Like I just always hear her shit when I'm going clubbing. Which is kind of like the music it's for, right? It's for that crowd. But her performance was sick, and I also like was watching and I was like, she's doing this pregnant. That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive, man. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I mean, damn. Also, I gotta love how like one of the first few memes to pop up after that was the fact that the stage looks like one of those fighting stages from Super Smash Brothers.
That's literally what I thought the whole time she was performing. I was like, oh, she's on the Smash Bros. Stage. Cool.
Yeah, I was half
Um,
expecting fucking Donkey Kong to come in and just throw her shit around.
yeah, for real. Thought this was going to turn into a trailer for the Mario Brothers movie.
Or
Um,
God forbid Luigi doing that fucking stupid like, move forward dash and just like
oh, yeah, that's
out
right. Yeah,
drives her. Oh
for
my
real.
god.
Um, the Speaking of trailers and stuff, I actually was like, okay, so first off, we want to admit that we do not respect what Ezra Miller did. We don't condone what they did. All their actions should seriously be addressed and dealt with. Um, in what way, it's hard to say, because like how much of a debt can you pay to repay to society? But like also what they did was like traumatizing other people. So it's like, you kind of caused a lot of harm. Um, but the Flash movie, Flash movie actually looks really sick. I'm like, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know they were doing Flashpoint for real. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be sweet. Zod's going back. Michael Keaton as Batman, dude.
Bruh.
Oh,
Oh my
that
god.
made me like flip. I was like, yo, what? When I heard his voice, I was like, no way. Um, oh, it's sick. And so that's gonna be sweet, I think. It's just kind of like again, I'm conflicted because like they're a bad person, and like the studio did a lot of bad shit this last year. I mean, they put James Gunn as the head of their DC stuff, so like that's a good decision. But
Exactly. And funny enough, like, I thought to myself, how good is this Flash movie that you can excuse the things that Ezra Miller has done? And apparently James Gunn said in a tweet that he saw, or no, not in a tweet, sorry, in an interview that he saw the movie, the Flash movie, early screening. He said it was the best comic book superhero film he's seen ever.
I hope so, man. It looks really cool, and I
If
really like the Flash character, and I really like Flashpoint. Flashpoint's a really good storyline that's interesting, and I feel like the trailer showed a bit much.
yeah, I
Bit
haven't
too
seen the
much.
trailer, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, well okay. I just told you that like yeah. So the important stuff that like you probably would have liked to have found out when watching the movie. Um,
That's fine. I'm gonna watch the trailer regardless. That way I know what the hell you're talking about.
yeah, you should. Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
like really sick.
I mean, that's why I'm so fucking hyped for Knock at the Cabin, because like that looks like it's a really good film.
I've heard Rupert Grint, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard his performance in that movie is phenomenal.
yeah.
Is so I'm told.
So like the only thing I know about this movie, Knock at the Cabin, is that everyone in the movie except the little girl has to like have this like heightened kind of like fear and sadness throughout like the whole thing, and the fact that
Mhm.
all of them can like make these emotions feel genuinely real, like it's amazing.
Carry that through the whole movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Because the invaders,
Yeah.
they don't want to do this. Like they physically look like they don't want to be here, and then like the gay couple that is being targeted,
Mhm.
like they're genuinely like just terrified for like an hour and a half straight.
Have you seen the movie?
No, but I've seen reviews for the movie, and that's the general consensus of it. Like it is just
Okay, because I was like, you were talking about it, like you saw it, and I was like, man, did you see it? Because I wanted to go see it. Yeah, I was supposed to go see it this last week with my girlfriend, but we both had COVID. She got cleared by like Friday, which is good because she just got back today from. She went to Disneyland for the weekend with her friend. So I'm glad
yeah.
that impact her trip. But we were supposed to go see it, and then we couldn't. Well, I guess we'll try this week.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I saw some reviews from like trusted people that I know online, and I take their word for it. Like if these performances are that good, I have to go see this fucking film.
oh, absolutely, yeah. I was really excited when I saw that Dave Bautista was in it, and then the guy from Mindhunter is one of the husbands, which is cool.
Yeah.
Um, And speaking of gay characters, I saw last night that movie Strange World from Disney.
Ooh, okay, right. The one that
And
says it's their first gay character, despite the fact they've had a couple other previous gay characters in other Disney films. Like, what the
well,
fuck?
this one's like first like actively gay, like, and it's well not like so active that he butt fucks the guy. I kind of missed that. But, so the son, the, the son. Okay, oh man.
If they straight up had butt fucking in a Disney film, I think that would get anyone's attention. Literally, like Tucker Carlson
We
was.
have to go see the movie. You know, it's like
Tucker Carlson would stop jerking off to the green M&M for like 10 minutes just to talk about this.
he would just put the green M&M away. Close the laptop.
He'll take the green M&M out of his ass and actually talk about this.
Actually, yeah, that would work. Eminem should do a lot of butt plugs, but so I don't know if they should be shaped like the M&M when going up. That wouldn't be like it. I think the cone is a good pointy shape that like would fit around the. So like maybe the ring of the butt plug could be M&M.
Well, if they're all shaped like the purple and yellow M&M, then it's fine because they're the peanut loaded ones. They're the thick fucking ones. They'll actually hang in your ass.
Thick boys, yeah, they'll stay up there.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, so yeah, so the character, so it's Jake Gyllenhaal plays the dad, and then Dennis Quaid plays his dad, who's like a shitty dad who like abandons him for like some quest he's doing, and then he goes missing for like 25 years, and so then Jake Gyllenhaal his character is named Searcher. The dad's name is oh god, what's it? It's uh something I don't remember. Fuck, it was said so many times. But then the son Ethan. So the son Ethan is like this like little kid, like this teenager who like doesn't really he's unsure of himself, doesn't really know what he wants. Because his dad's like, oh, you should be a farmer, but then he wants to be like his granddad, and like be an explorer, and and then it's like pretty early on in the film we get introduced to like his love interest, his like crush. He's like, which isn't really often mentioned. I'd probably say it's like 4 or 5 conversations people talk about like, oh, you have a crush on this guy, um, who like he's hella cute, so I don't blame him, right? But like, um, but and so the movie it doesn't even show them. It shows them like doing a Christian side hug at the end, but it never shows them kissing or anything. Certainly no butt fucking. We've already went over this. Um,
Yeah.
People really freaked out unnecessarily and like caused a whole storm of it. Um, these are also just like the regular conservatives who are always usually reactionary. So like, what's the difference? But
Dude, it's like that fucking like Buzz Lightyear thing where like they have like a lesbian couple in the movie, but it's like literally a 3-second clip that you can literally cut out for the China market, anyways.
that's literally what they did. But so
And that's probably what they were doing in this fucking film. They gotta keep the China market, right?
they probably yeah, because the conversations were so short, and it also wasn't that big of a deal in the movie. And I kind of appreciated that because it's like, if it, I don't know, it could have been an interesting storyline if it were about like acceptance, but that's not what the movie was about. It was about acceptance in a different matter, and I really appreciated that. Um, I thought that was just cool that they like brushed over it, and it sort of helps normalize it. But it is also probably for marketing purposes that they could like just cut that sort of stuff out. Ignore those conversations, not think about it.
Yeah.
And so, but actually, it's interesting. I was talking to my girl about it, and she was saying that like, so I originally thought it was cut solely because of the blatant homophobia. But it was actually the marketing was really really small. Because it didn't test well with audiences, which I was surprised by. Because like, I mean, it's not like I'm not gonna like think it's one of the best Disney films for sure, but it's like it's a really good story. It's really great animation. The visuals are fantastic. I love the world
Yeah.
it builds, and then the way it expands on it later is like, wow, dude. It's just like it's actually like a really enjoyable film. I would probably revisit it again for sure. Um, yeah, and it's got Jabuki Young White in it, and that's cool as fuck. He plays the son, right? So like, it's got a pretty well stacked cast, but yeah. So I enjoyed the film. I thought it was good. I definitely recommend it. I kind of wish I saw it in theaters. I mean, like I have the AMC Stubs thing, so I go whenever, and I've actually gone a lot less since I've been dating, which is funny because we both have uh, the Stubs membership thing. But but yeah, so I'd recommend it. I think it's a good movie. Were there any
Okay.
gripes I had with it? No, I like the narrative. I like the story it's trying to tell. It also has like an underlying theme of like, you know, be respectful of like nature and like your environment, and that's like a good theme for like now because the planet's dying. Which we could talk a little bit about now because like there was that so there was like a chemical spill in Palestine, Ohio. Um, that's like really dangerous because like it's a bunch of residents had to be like evacuated and they had to be cleared to like come back after the spill. Um,
Jesus Christ.
and it's chemicals that are like that were deemed dangerous back in like World War I. It was after World War I. I think that the Geneva Convention said they shouldn't be used in warfare. So it's like I think if I've got that right, I've been trying to like consume all this information about it. There's a lot of angles to it, and there was like a reporter arrested, um, and people were saying it's because he was trying to report on the story, and like the official arrest is like he was trespassing, but it was a public event, so it's like probably wasn't trespassing. But anyway, so it's just kind of messy right now, and and the reason the spill was able to occur was because of um, safety regulations being lobbied out by the company that ended up creating this spill. This was 6 years ago. They lobbied to lift some restrictions for safety measures, and these safety measures probably would have prevented this, and so it happened.
Tale as old as time, huh?
Yeah, the corporations buying laws and stuff and making it easy for them.
Yeah, literally,
Too bad.
the same fucking thing that happened at the BP oil spill, man. Like, literally, one fucking guy was just like, "Yeah, no, like this is working totally fine. It's just like a little pocket. It's fine." So it's not too much pressure. It's like, "You sure?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure." It's like, "Okay, you're our boss. Let's go ahead and do it." And then, fucking lo and behold, just oil shoots out and contaminates the fucking ocean.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was I forget about that sometimes. That happened in 2012. That was 10 years ago.
yeah.
Oh my god.
There's a fucking
Time
Mark
flies.
Wahlberg movie about it, man.
I never even saw that one. I do remember it coming out though. I remember that one being made. That's crazy.
Yeah, I actually saw the movie. It was actually pretty good.
Imagine just imagine the kind of um like imagine you do something so you fuck up so bad that you get a book or a movie made about you. It's like that's kind of insane. Um,
I mean, yeah.
that's an intense fuck up. Also, are you drinking a bang at 8 in the evening on a Monday? Why are you doing that? You're gonna be up till like 3 a.m., bro.
It's fine. I gotta edit this fucking video anyways, and it's also pina colada flavor. How was I gonna say no?
Pina colada, dude. I might just pick back up on those bangs, man. I was having a lot. I was having that rainbow unicorn for a while. That was a good one.
Yeah, that
Uh,
shit is pretty fire. But do you like pina coladas?
Getting caught in the rain. I found out about a cocktail. It's new to me. I'm sure it's not new to people, but it's like a new cocktail to me. It's called a mudslide. You do vodka, Kahlua, and Bailey's actually. Um, so it's like turns into like a kind of milkshake, which is cool. It's kind of like an upgrade on a White Russian, and I dig that. So that's cool.
Mudslide.
I'll have to try that at some point. I don't have Bailey's, but I always have Kahlua and vodka on me, so I can make these.
Well, there's apparently a cocktail. So that mezcal book you got, Dad.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's apparently a cocktail in there that involves mezcal and Jägermeister. I was not expecting that.
Jaeger, out of all things. I mean, the only thing I usually associate Jaeger with is Jaeger bombs, which is, for those at home who don't know, is just Jägermeister and Red Bull, um,
Yeah.
which is actually a fine combination. Thursdays there's a bar around here that does a college. So I live near a university, and so like they do. I live pretty close to all the bars and to the university itself. So I like the college students frequent. And I don't want to sound like some creepy old man. I've got a girlfriend already, and I'm also 25, so I'm not much older than these schmucks. Um, I feel like if I'm hanging out there by the time I'm 50, it might be a little weird. But depends on how I
Yeah.
look. But depends on how good I look. Maybe I'll be a silver fox, dude, and I could pick up all the girls. But no. So what was I saying? So they do a college night, and so those every Thursday they have two Jaeger bombs for $9, which is like a really good price. And so we usually get around to those.
That's fucking 450 a drink. That's really fucking good. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, but what's this? So what's the proportions for this mezcal and Jaeger cocktail?
I haven't actually looked too closely at it. I just saw that it involves Jaeger, and I'm like, that is the weirdest choice ever. Because don't get me wrong, I love Jaeger. I love it straight. I cannot do it
You
in the
can
fucking...
actually drink it straight because it's like it tastes like licorice.
Yeah, and that's actually the only black licorice I actually like, Jaeger. But it's a very hard spirit to work with to actually make it like taste good mixed with anything else. I can't do Jaeger bombs because like I find Red Bull disgusting. I'm sorry. That's just
Oh,
me.
that's fine.
Yeah. Just makes me feel like sick. Like I'm like having a sugar crash. It's like
No,
bad.
I absolutely feel it, man. I absolutely feel it. a fun drink that's a similar concept, but is of a more offensive name, is the Irish Car Bomb. That one's really fun. You drop a shot of Bailey's into Guinness, chug that before it foams up and stuff. Um,
Fucking Irish
I,
car bomb. Oh my god. Yeah, never go to fucking Ireland, kids, and order that. Never do that.
yeah, don't. That's not culturally competent, man.
Yeah, just look at literally any point in Ireland during the mid 70s and you'll know exactly why.
Yeah, just look up Ireland trouble 1970s.
Exactly. What the
That's
English don't want you to know.
yeah. Look up what do the English not want me to know about Ireland in the 70s. Look that up. Um,
It's like looking up Tiananmen Square in 1989 in China.
yeah, that's facts.
Oh my god. Oh, speaking of fucking school, Ron DeSantis. Apparently, I didn't know this, but in between a period of time when he graduated Yale and before going on to Harvard Law School, he was a high school teacher in Georgia for 1 year.
How old was he?
I think he was in his mid 20s.
Oh, so he's probably like my age and stuff, a little older maybe, and like he's teaching. And wasn't he like wasn't it he so he was this is like just the most insane shit. Like Trump accused him of like grooming and stuff and like of hanging out with teenagers, right?
Yeah, because Ron DeSantis, at this point in time, when he was a teacher, it was between 2001 and 2002 he was teaching. And yeah, there's a photo of him hanging out with like high school kids, and there is alcohol involved. You can see in the photo.
Hmm.
So whether or not he might have actually slept with a high school student is beyond me. It's probably the case, but based on testimony from people who actually was in his classroom in the day, they said no, everyone hated him. He was an arrogant fucking prick.
Nice. That's so no one he definitely did not fuck any of them because none of them would have been willing to fuck him.
Yeah,
Um,
whether or not he would have wanted to, that's up for debate. But
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, that's always like, it's never an action. So like, if it's a thought, if you just keep it to your thoughts, man,
yeah.
no one's gonna catch you on it.
Some of the testimonies were weird. Like he was weirdly like into heated debates about the Civil War. I'm like, okay, what stand are you taking, bro? Like what?
Yeah, it's a pretty easy issue. It's like the Civil War was purely driven, um, by slavery, and people are like, oh, well, it was the economy, and I'm like, yeah, what was boosting the economy in the mid to late 1800s of America? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it was American slavery. Like free labor is like free labor, dude. Like
like
if you just gotta whip and feed them, like you know,
it's like the same thing nowadays. It's just the only difference is like you pay someone like terrible wages that they cannot live on. So essentially, you're profiting off of the suffering of others.
oh well,
So
capitalism is always exploitation. But so and actually, so this I'm gonna hearken to. I finished the 1619 project this week, that docuseries on Netflix on Hulu. Pardon me, but and it was really informative. My gripe, okay, and take this as you will from my perspective, my limited perspective.
yeah,
Uh,
because we're both white as sin.
yeah, I'm whiter than Wonder Bread, dude. So like, I will say it makes a couple assumptions, but a lot of what they have to say and a lot of the history they're telling and a lot of the impact today it has, um, there is a lot of truth to that. There is like definitely like it's very stark to observe that sort of thing. I think what really shocked me was like it was the last episode too. They were talking about like economic earnings and stuff, and they were like, "There's a huge race wealth gap," and so it's like they were saying something like even if African American has like a college degree, he won't earn as much as a white American who didn't finish high school. And I'm just like, it was like, I don't know if that was the exact statistic, but it was like, it just shocked me to hear that. I gotta rewatch that stuff. It shocked me. But it was a very interesting series, and the point I was making was about, we were talking about, oh, well, so the Civil War is like, you know, uh, the American economy, the whole nation pretty much just thrived on slave trade. You know, it's like it was there's a lot of money to be made in skin. You know, it's like and from the very beginning, it's always been that way. It's like it's always been an economic thing. I mean, at one point they were viewed as property. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
um, yeah, and I think it harkens to world history that like humans have really profited and succeeded off the suffering of other humans. Oh, and they also, this was the point I was going to make, is they kind of can intertwine it to connect it to today, where it's like people are fighting for like a livable minimum wage and stuff, and like proper earnings and compensation. Um, and it's like if you're overworking somebody, underpaying them, you're kind of trapping them in a system and in a um, in a hard place where they can't really move out of. And I think also there was a point they made about like uh, there's not a lot of words in the American lexicon that are used to describe a a labored, underpaid, undervalued worker other than slave, right? So like slave is very much used as an umbrella term for a lot of things, and that kind of also like lessens the impact of American slavery, right? Of when it's talked about, right? It's like people don't
Yeah.
take it seriously, and like it was a horrible thing. There was one episode they talked about like how they would breed slaves and stuff, and like it was just like man, it was hard. Some of it was just really hard to listen to, really hard to watch. Um, but I think it's valuable to watch. Um, it is also very much it is taking and this is for the viewer to be concerned with. I consider myself a left-leaning centrist, so I don't give a fuck. Generally, that's how I try to keep myself. But so it is very left-leaning. It is very like it is ragging a bit on Republicans and stuff, and which I think it's got a place to do so because like there's a lot of policy that they block from being able to be enacted that would probably help, and um, it's usually conservative Christian Americans who want to go back to the way things were, and like you really think about the timeline, man. Like the civil rights movement. Um, and we don't talk about it to its fullest because there was a lot of violence and repercussions in the 70s when like the hopes and promises of the civil rights movement weren't fulfilled. People were very angry, obviously. A lot of civil unrest, but the civil rights movement was only like 60 years ago. It's only like one generation behind us, which is like you think about that. It's like of course there's all these systems and these practices and these ideologies that persist today. It's like this hasn't really been wiped away, and it's only been really 150 years ago or 160 since like slavery actually ended.
Yeah. And ended. Like there was fucking roadblocks the rest of the way for like the longest time.
Oh my God, yeah, like
Yeah. Fucking
and there
Jim Crow
was
laws, like shit.
all these policies and stuff to keep them. And it's actually it's worse because it's ingrained in like the 13th Amendment. Let me because I want to read that to you. The 13th Amendment is what ended slavery. It abolished slavery, and it reads.
Like you just have this written down.
No, I'm just googling it. I don't, dude. I don't give a fuck about. Oh, here. So it is.
Okay.
The 13th Amendment abolished slavery and involuntary servitude except as punishment for a crime. And this is the problem because now it's been labeled that you can engage in slavery practices as long as the person is a criminal. And so that's what they then did in these eras is they heavily criminalized the stereotypical practices of African Americans, and they still criminalize them to this day. And it's kind of like it's constitutional for them to go, do the things they do, like they go fight fires for pennies. If you're in prison, you fucking I don't know what other examples. Yeah, it's just like it's really it's really not good, and so it really didn't end anything. It certainly didn't fix a lot either. Because like the thing that's the problem is like you've got all these people who they don't have any resources, they don't have any like thorough proper education, and they don't have the means, right? They spent their lives in servitude for no money. They were barely fed, they were mistreated, all these sorts of things, and you just let them go, and then you don't give them anything to go with that, and it's like, what are they supposed to do? um, and I mean, they luckily they formed towns and stuff. There were particularly like black communities that they formed, but again, these were heavily criminalized, heavily impacted by racism, even from the North too. It's not
Yeah.
the South isn't the sole perpetrator of this stuff. And then yeah, so it was a crazy process. And then one of the things that really struck me was, and it was a really I'm gonna paraphrase this because I'm gonna butcher the quote if I try to remember it. It was some Pulitzer Prize musical. He like writes articles about music and stuff, and so you know he was talking about the history of minstrel shows. And for those who don't know, minstrel shows are it was a practice, a long time practice actually, from like 18 I don't know 70 further on to like the I think as late as the 1930s, maybe, or even later. Um, it's where white people put on blackface and perform as if they were, black. And so, like, uh, he said something along the lines of this, because this was white America's first introduction to black people in like media, right? Because like their media was like theater and plays and shit like that. Um, it's very different from the media we have today, but their first representation in media wasn't even their own choice. They didn't even get to choose how they were presenting themselves. That was even stolen from them. Something along those lines is what that person said, and that really just stuck with me. I was like, wow, that's fucked. And some of
Yeah.
the stereotypes that were pervasive at that time still trickle down to today.
Yeah, no, it's fucked, man. It's fucked. Like,
Yeah, it's just all just pretty much that's the summation of the whole docu series. You can watch that whole thing, and you'll be like, yeah, it's fucked. All right, things are fucked. We need to do something. And I don't know if it doesn't really leave off on a good answer. I think like because like it talked about like the controversial topic of reparations, right? And like you know, um, and it kind of ended with like you can put a price tag on that, but like, can you really like for all the injustice that was done? Um,
you really can't. Like,
yeah,
it's
you think about that. It's like it's just funny. It's not the whole situation isn't. What's funny is that like I watched this, and it was like I saw this trend on Twitter where people were quote retweeting some video of like a person doing a TikTok, and the person had tweeted that video out saying like, "Oh, this is the worst generation America's ever had," and people would be like, "Yeah, I can think of a couple generations that were like kind of worse," and like there was one that struck me. It was like this black lady retweeted it saying or quote tweeted it saying. She said, "Your grandmother didn't want my grandmother drinking from the same fountain as her. I think this is like a lot less bad." And I was just like, "Yeah, that's fair."
yeah. I mean, fucking hell. No, and I fucking hate the whole like. Okay, so the whole like left leaning thing in the 1619 project, like it it would be great if we didn't have like parties dividing people, like ideology wise.
It would be very well. Actually, yeah, it'd be very
Yeah,
helpful. I mean, it would be helpful if there weren't just two parties, because then it's like you got the two extremes. I mean, even the founding fathers, had warned of that, right? And like
exactly.
and so these two parties are going to gravitate towards certain groups and be divisive that way. And whether you want to admit it or not, I mean, the Republican Party is the party of mostly the white conservative Christian America, and that kind of breeds a certain ideology and thinking, um, of course. And like, I'm not saying that progressive is better, but people are always like, "Oh, well, the Republicans are the ones who freed the slaves," and I'm just like, "So you think the Republican Party was at its height when it exercised liberal policies?" I just want to hear that right.
Yeah, it's like the mental gymnastics they got to jump through is fucking insane. But like, That's why I try not to judge people based on like political leanings. Like
Mhm.
I have to walk on fucking eggshells sometimes because I don't want to
Well,
like
all the
offend
times,
somebody.
yeah. Because like nowadays, it's like really, it's either all or nothing. You know, it's like I could genuinely say like I genuinely think I don't fucking like Trump. I don't even fucking like Joe Biden. He's just fine, I guess. He's doing a lot better than the orange sack of minge we had for 4 years. But like
I like the fucking
certainly
deep
not
fakes of Joe Biden, honestly, more than I
the
like Joe
deep
Biden the
fakes.
person.
Yeah, I like the jokes about him more than I like him. I mean,
Yeah.
he's fine. He's doing. I actually kind of liked his State of the Union address. I thought that was pretty sick. Actually, he was like, he was he was like owning some Republicans, which like it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't have to be this like kind of like cage match type of style. Like the language we use too to describe all this stuff is very very unhealthy. But
Yeah.
but like people don't see it that way, right? I could say like fuck Donald Trump, and I don't give a fuck about Joe Biden. And people will be like, oh well, then you support Trump. I'm like, no, I just said I fucking don't like the guy.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like
It's
it's
like
either one or the other, and you can't have some fucking nuance these days.
It's like fuck the party system. Like I try to judge people based on like moral values and whatnot. Like if there's any way you can justify like slavery and bad shit like that, you are a bad person, regardless of what your political affiliation is. You are a
Yeah,
terrible
if you're like a person who's like, oh, we should like more in the Confederacy. I'm like, the Confederacy was built up of a bunch of racist assholes who wanted to keep a certain group of people enslaved, so they can get so they could get the bag. You know what I mean? Like that's not you're not on the right side of history there, man.
I will quote a great tweet on this. The fucking Doritos Locos Taco lasted longer than the Confederacy.
Did it really?
Yeah. 5-6 years we've had the Doritos Locos Taco. The Confederacy only lasted 4 years.
Haha,
Yeah.
losers.
Fucking, we all know where we stand in this country, okay? Doritos Locos Taco. Better than slavery.
It's gonna better than it's a low bar, but better than slavery.
It's a fucking really low bar. Oh
yeah,
my god.
the bar is like below the floor, dog.
I kind of want to go back in time now and just like give a freed slave a Doritos Locos Taco, just so it comes full circle.
Or give it to both a freed slave and a slave, and then free the slave. I don't know.
Give all the slaves AR-15, see what happens.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that would like because a lot of what the docuseries also talked about was like a lot of white fears and stuff of uprising, from the blacks as like a revenge type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like even like okay, what you're doing is like bad, and like people want to retaliate. I mean, they didn't, right? The slaves are freed, and they didn't even have the means really to do so either. But like, so that would confirm their fears if you gave them all AK-47s, like you know what I mean, like.
Oh my god.
Chilling.
Well, I'm also thinking from a technological standpoint because, again, like black powder pistols were still the highest tech back in the day. So it's like going to war. Yeah, I was gonna say, man, like technologically wise.
Yeah, they weren't very far along. What did the? Huh. Yeah, so that can only shoot like one at a time, right? So it's like
exactly, and even then, like you can load like only 5 bullets into a 6-cylinder gun because, like, again, they were worried that like drawing it too fast or dropping the fucking thing would like set off a round, so you had to have an empty chamber so you don't accidentally shoot yourself.
oh wow,
Yeah,
interesting. Man, guns sucked back in the day. I wonder how we won the American Revolution. But
well, the only advantage we had on that was we actually just developed a rifle that actually had like rifling in the barrel, so it wasn't actually like smooth like all other guns back in the day. It actually had some like rifling, so it actually spins the bullet.
I do remember hearing about this on the History Channel several years ago.
Yeah, so that was the one advantage we had. We didn't have a whole lot of them, but we had some. And home field advantage. The English have never explored, America's territories like the first settlers. So, of course, the settlers had the home field advantage.
That's true, I suppose, yeah.
It's like the Vietnam War all over again, man.
Yeah, speaking of the Vietnam War, I need to finish that movie, Apocalypse Now. It's just
you
really
started
intense.
that?
I've watched halfway through, and don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic film. Martin Sheen is incredible in it.
Yeah.
The score is amazing. The story it's telling, it's just really intense. and it's like a lot, and like it's a war movie, a
Yeah.
raw war movie. You know what I mean? Like, so I get it, but like also it's just like, man,
No, I
it
still think
was
one of the best
it's
war movies about the Vietnam War is definitely The Five Bloods.
The Five Bloods is really good. I like Full Metal Jacket. That one's another one that's like really intense, but like,
Such a fucking classic.
yeah, such a great movie. Yeah, The Five Bloods was like that surprised me, man. I was like, damn, this is dope.
Well, because it
Didn't
managed
surprise
to
me. It's like,
explore the hardships of war and then also like how it can change a person either for better or for, God forbid, worse.
true, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nutty film. I knew it was gonna be good because that's a Spike Lee movie, right?
It's a Spike Lee joint. Don't forget
Yeah,
that.
Spike Lee joint, bro. It was a good
Yeah.
movie. Another good, was it Spike Lee? He did the Black Klansman.
Yes, he did. Oh my god, I still need to see that. I haven't fucking seen
That
that
is
yet.
a really that is a phenomenal film, dude. Definitely check it out when you get the chance.
Fucking John David Washington, son of Denzel Washington.
Doing a kick-ass job, might I add, bro.
I
My
know you can
goodness.
see some of his dad's mannerisms. It's quite striking.
Yeah, no, for real. He does take after his dad a bit. He looks a little bit like his dad.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch Licorice Pizza and see if Cooper Hoffman has the same mannerisms as his dad, Philip.
You know what's funny? He almost didn't take the role because of high quality, acting status that his father had.
Oh wow! So he like because of his father's reputation, he didn't want to take the role.
Initially, he didn't want to consider becoming an actor until he talked to, the director of this film and he's like, "Okay, it sounds interesting. I might tag along for the film." And then literally the rest of the band Haim just was like, "If he's in the movie, we're going to be in the movie. Okay? This kid is cool."
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he does a really good job. I was really impressed when I saw the movie. And I like the main girl too. She's awesome. She's funny.
Yeah.
She's like witty. She's kind of bad.
Oh, she hella bad,
Yeah, she's
honestly.
kind of bad, bro.
Also, honestly, it's just like a lovable little slice of life kind of film. Like, it actually feels like genuinely two young adults trying to figure out what they want in life, you know?
No, absolutely, and that's what it's a coming of age sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great, and yeah, if you can get again, if you we've talked about this before, if you can get past the age thing, then like you're cool.
The potential grooming, if you want to call it that.
Potential grooming, I would call it that because I think there's an argument to be made, but like he came on to her.
And she
Um,
initially rejected the advances, so,
she did, but then they got to know each other and they were just hanging out, and like I don't think it's a problem if like a 25-year-old is hanging out with a bunch of teenagers as long as you're not like supplying them with any drugs or alcohol or doing anything else that like could put them at risk, right? Or if you're all going to supply them drugs and alcohol, be responsible. You know what I mean? Like show them the way. You know.
Yeah. Also,
Um,
not to defend the whole fucking grooming thing, like, it doesn't seem like it at all, but you also got to keep in mind, it's the fucking 70s. There was literally a lot worse things going on at that time period than literally just that individual little story.
yeah, and I mean, again, at the end of the film, they were both consenting adults from the legal standpoint, right? So it's like it was fine. And they didn't do anything before. I mean, he saw her boobs at some point.
Yeah, so who hasn't seen a pair of tits, like, in a
Yeah,
normal, healthy way?
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a great movie. Great, well done film. Sean Penn's in it for like 10 minutes and then just dips, but he was cool in it.
Oh, fucking Bradley Cooper's in there for like 15 minutes, and his performance is fucking
Oh my
striking.
god, he's insane in that movie. like clinically insane, and like it's fucking awesome, and I love it so much.
Yeah, he's
You
like a
just
fucking
highlight
stylist who just wants to like beat the shit out of anything and anyone, and then immediately try and like chase some ass afterwards.
his walk was so funny, and like his haircut was so stupid, and like his behavior was so insane, and like he's just so like he like fucking doesn't he throw a mailbox through a window and then like be like, "What's up, ladies?" Like like right after to some chicks on the sidewalk. Like what the fuck? It's insane, man. It's a great movie. Great movie. I need to watch it again.
Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
Fantastic film. I think tonight I was gonna try and watch X. So I'm gonna see if I can watch that.
Oh,
It's
X,
on
the
Prime.
the horror film, right?
Yeah, the one that Kid Cudi did. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna warn you right now. There is a lot of fucking in that movie. Way more fucking than you needed.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm down, dude.
I mean, you see Mia Goth like ride some black dick. It's insane.
Sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I saw her jerk Alexander Skarsgård off in Infinity Pool, so I've seen a lot.
So it's a reasonable progression. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
BBC to the worst hand job imaginable.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, it was just such an odd movie. Yeah, it's for a certain type of person. Definitely gonna
Yeah.
watch it if you're into like body horror like that, and like that's cool. Like I watched like Crimes of the Future, like the new David Cronenberg joint that came out last year,
Oh, how was that?
which that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, it's the one with like weird plastic surgery they do, right?
Well, yeah. So like what it is it's yeah, it's a hard plot to explain. So like I guess it's in a future where like Viggo Mortensen plays this guy who can like grow new organs and like never before seen organs. And so what he does is like in artistic expression, he does vivisections of that, and so like he'll do it on himself and stuff, and it's really interesting and odd, and I don't really know what the point of it was at the end, but I thought visually it was cool. I liked what's the Léa Seydoux, the French actress. She's really good.
Oh, fucking wait, the Bond girl, right? The one from
The one, what No Time to Die,
yes, that's the one. Yeah.
and what was the one before that? It was No Time to Die, and
Before that, it was Spectre. That was the
Spectre.
first introduction of her. Yeah, yeah.
And then she was also in the French Dispatch. If you've seen that one,
I have not, but is that the one where
that's
she goes nude?
yeah, she's like full frontal nude, which is cool.
I mean, she's
also very
French, so
good
that's
in the
given.
film. Yeah, but she's also very good in the film too. In the component she's in. It's actually a really just enjoyable movie. I saw that like twice in the theaters. I loved that movie. Um, I was pleasantly surprised with it. It's on HBO Max if you want to check it out. I'm not
Okay.
pleasantly surprised. Like I like Wes Anderson. He definitely has his own quirky style to his stuff, and if you're into that sort of thing, go for it. If you're not, don't fucking check it out. Like one of my favorite film, I think my favorite film from him is The Grand Budapest Hotel. Um,
Same.
it's such a visually pleasing film. Ray Fiennes and I can never remember the other guy, the guy who plays Zero. I want to look him up because I want to put some respect on the name. He's great too.
Oh, the little brown kid in the movie, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we just spent so long talking about race, and you told the little brown kid, "Good job."
Well, how else do I describe him? The fucking bellhop? Like, no, come on, man. Like, I'm sorry.
I
I'm
guess
sorry.
that's true. I guess that's true.
Also, wasn't he fucking Flash Thompson in the Tom Holland Spider-Man films?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Revolori, yeah. He was, yeah. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's one of I think that's one of his best roles, dude. Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's a good movie, but I haven't seen enough Wes Anderson films to like make up my mind about him.
yeah, like he did like Mr. Fantastic Mr. Fox, and he did Isle of Dogs, which like that was cool. It was quirky. It was fun. Bryan Cranston was in it, so I was like, okay, that's a big selling point.
Yeah.
And then he did. I need to see the Life Aquatic of Steve
Zizzo? Yeah.
So yeah, the Royal Tenenbaums I need to check out.
He also did Moonrise Kingdom, I believe. The one with
I need to watch that one. Yeah.
yeah, one of the last few like good Bruce Willis movies because I think he's in there.
Oh really? That's
Yeah.
dope. But yeah. So I like Wes Anderson's style. It's definitely like quirky and it sticks to some of the same type of shots. It sticks to some of the same type of dialogue. It's got this quirky humor to it. Um, yeah, I don't know. He's definitely a creative. I can tell why he's not for everybody, right? It's kind of like it feels kind of like a weird. It's like a if I were to compare him to being like music, he'd be like a weird indie artist, and so like he'd have a certain crowd that would get into him, but like not everyone's like into that kind of indie rock. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
or not even indie rock. He'd probably be like an indie pop group if he were to do something. But anyway, yeah. So it is very odd filmmaking. Um, uh, what's another director that's really good usually? That I've seen a lot of their work. Um,
Denis Villeneuve. I've seen a fair amount of Denis Villeneuve films.
Well, yeah, he did Blade Runner 2049.
And Dune. Don't forget Dune.
He did Dune. He did
He did
what else did
Enemy, Sicario. What else?
Sicario, yeah.
Prisoners. He did Prisoners.
That was him.
Yeah, and also Arrival. That was also him.
Oh yeah, Arrival was insane.
Yeah, fucking Christ. The man, like, even though some of the stories aren't his, like, he gets these screenplays and he's like, I know what to fucking do with that. And he just crushes it every time. There has never been a bad Denis Villeneuve film.
I really don't. I really think that's true, man. Like he does well with his stuff. Visually, there's like Blade Runner 2049 is visually like stunning, dude. It is just every shot is amazing, and like he did this weird. Wasn't there like some weird article that came out where like he when he described like Jared Leto being on the set, he like compared him to Jesus or something, which like I'm sure that helped Jared Leto's already big ego.
I mean, yeah.
So that's a little weird, but like, I mean, do your thing, Denis Villeneuve. You're a visionary. I think you can do what you want.
No, Denis Villeneuve, like, this is also the same guy that, like, when he did the movie Enemy, like, because it's such a weird film, he literally had in everyone's, like, contract who signed onto the film to not disclose the meaning of the spiders in the film.
I haven't seen Enemy. What is it about?
Okay, so it's about Jake Gyllenhaal. His character is a college professor who teaches history. He has a sad, kind of miserable life, and he watches a film on a whim recommended by one of his coworkers. So he watches the film, and there's an extra in the film who looks exactly like him. So he tries to hunt this guy down to understand why the fuck did they look exactly like the same person. Yeah. And it's a whole metaphor for, like, dual identity of, like, what he wants to do with his hedonistic nature, but then also, like, trying to become a totally different person and actually, like, be a grown, responsible adult, you know, who needs to have a healthy relationship.
Interesting.
And this is going to be a spoiler for the people out there, because I know for a fact you want to know what the meaning of the spiders are in the film, but the spiders represent his character's perception of women.
Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind when I see the movie, because I definitely want to check this out now. I like Jake Gyllenhaal, and it sounds like a crazy plot, and it sounds like it's probably got a lot of weird depth to it that I'm not going to get at the first viewing, so...
Yeah.
I like films like that. I like that. Like I like ones that like make you mull it over and you have to rewatch it to figure out what the fuck they were talking about.
I will warn you, the ending will actually scare you, because it literally, like, it ends with, like, a giant spider, like, just cowering in the corner from him. So, but it's like a sudden, like, just shift of, like, just giant spider out of nowhere that, like, is gonna freak you the fuck out at first.
Oh, okay, weird, cool.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah. But no, it's a great film. Visually, it's fucking stunning, and the use of color is, like, fantastic. Because most of the movie's yellow, so it's, like, supposed to be, like, the symbolism of, like, rot. It's supposed to make you feel, like, disgusted and grossed out, even though you shouldn't initially be feeling it. And whenever there's any other colors, like hues of blue, you're immediately drawn towards that, because the disgusting yellow color, you're like, I'd rather be looking at literally any other color right now.
Damn.
Yeah. It's a truly fantastic film. Like, it's so fucking deep. It's insane.
Very cool, man. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Have I watched any other movies in recent that have sat with me? Nothing I can think of. I've been kind of like on a comfort watch this week. I've been kind of like keeping it cool. The newest Last of Us episode was crazy. You gotta hop on that show, dude.
I know. I might just wait until, like, the whole first season is done, and then I just binge watch it in a single night.
That's fair, yeah. This whole like once a week thing, it's like it kind of like I was talking to Jack about it. Like it does suck because it keeps you on your toes, but like it also like keeps you talking about something for a little bit. So like that's kind of nice. But anyway, yeah. We've been recording for almost an hour here anyway. What do you say? Clock out?
I think it's a good time to clock out, my dude.
Well, thank you for joining us on this shift of the 9 to 5 boys. We've been your hosts, and we will see you guys whenever we see you, whatever time of day you're watching this, whether it's time of night, maybe you're doing it at 3 a.m., podcast listen. I don't know, dude. Do
Exactly.
your thing.
And this episode is uncut, unedited, just raw.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly. I only hit it raw.
And we're out.